What are the Nsync hits? I can't name a single one.
I'm more of a Backstreet Boys person. Nsync.
Nsync was one of the first albums I've bought as a kid.
Yeah, I was never into them. I mean, I was never really into the Backstreet Boys either, but
I kind of secretly liked them until I found heavy metal. And then I denied that I ever liked them. We're so leaving this at the beginning of the show, by the way.
No, denied.
No.
All our credibility is gone. I really can't
Did
think
we
of
have
any
any
Nsync song.
point?
Yes. Well, I did. Probably you did as well.
No, I'm just going to assume we don't have any credibility, so
yeah,
I openly admit I liked Nsync.
I can tell you 10 Backstreet Boys songs, but not a single Nsync song. I'm sure if you played some for me, I would know them, but... Oh, well.
There you go. Yeah,
Exciting
so
times.
How about we do a show?
Why not? It's what the public wants.
Give the people what they want. Well, hello everybody, welcome to CatPick Fridays episode last. Have no idea what number it was supposed to be, but this is the final, grand finale, something like that. It is the end, our friends, a beautiful end to a beautiful journey in a beautiful location. I don't know where I'm going with this, but once again, and for the last time, but not technically not, I'm joined by my co-host, the man who actually openly admitted that he likes Backstreet Boys.
There is no video proof of that anywhere, so it didn't happen. Unless there is video proof of it somewhere, in which case, yeah. Yes. You know what?
We definitely didn't open up with that.
Don't you remember we did a festival show with Eirik, our good friend from Living Room Gear Demos, where we picked summer festival acts based on a points system. And I think I picked the Backstreet Boys to come on after the Beatles or something ridiculous like that. But yeah.
Oh, that is very true.
Yeah.
So wait, did Backstreet Boys come after the Beatles?
No, they came before. So the Beatles were influenced by the Backstreet Boys. So like I Want It That Way was kind of the influence for I Want to Hold Your Hand and so on. That's how it worked. Makes
total sense.
Yeah.
So, as I just mentioned, this is the very last episode of CatPick Fridays. But we want to do it in a way where we first kind of do the CatPick Fridays thing and go through some recent gear news. Then we also kind of talk about our favorite moments during this CatPick Fridays journey. And at the very end of the show, we reveal some future plans. The name of the future show, you might even see a logo or something like that of the upcoming show. So, yeah, this is the end, but also a beautiful beginning. Something like that.
Indeed.
Indeed. He said, incredibly excited. Indeed.
Yes.
So before we talk about the future stuff, let's talk about the present, I guess. And we have just a segment for that called Recent Happenings for the last time. Now, we've been away for so long that it would feel weird to try to recap everything that has happened over the past 5 months, maybe? How long were we away? It's December 1st today.
5 months since we had a show?
Could be.
No way.
I think we did Did we do a show where you also joined to talk about your recent trip to NAMM this summer?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that you did a NAMM show on your own. I remember that. Yes. While I was in America. Whether or not we've actually done a CatPick Friday since then, I don't know. And I should have researched it, but I didn't. Because,
absolutely
lazy.
No idea.
Also, I never look back. I look forward.
I just look back, just check
pseudo-philosophical musings. Yes.
Because it's going to get incredibly hot in here otherwise. Yeah, let's talk about stuff that has been released as of late, and especially for those, if this is the first CatPick Fridays show you're seeing. First of all, there's a long archive of these shows. If you want to check those out, we're going to drop the playlist in the description of both on YouTube and on podcast platforms, and there's a card here somewhere on the screen. I never know where to point with the card. I think it's in the right corner when you watch it on YouTube, so it's there. There's a full playlist of all the CatPick Fridays episodes. And yes, Rich is pointing into the correct direction.
Yeah, when I'm pointing in my videos, I'm always pointing here, and it's normally right. So, yeah.
Oh, that's good. But
sometimes I point the other way, and I'm just pointing at nothing. But it happens.
Yes, at least one of us knows what he's doing. And that person is not me. But just before we hit record, Wampler dropped something.
Whoa.
And they have two budget-friendly pedals, a Phenom Distortion and Triumph Overdrive. And Rich, do you know what these are? Because I sure don't.
Yes, and this is extremely exciting. Firstly, because it's kind of a tradition for us that when we do CatPick Fridays, we tend to shoot the show, and then 1 hour later, someone comes out with an amazingly exciting gear release. And actually, today, the gear release has come before we shot the show, so we get to talk about it. So that's a super cool thing for our last show.
Yes.
That happens to work out. And these pedals are interesting because they are part of a new series by Wampler. They are part of the wallet-friendly collective series of pedals. Now, for those of you who know Wampler, which will be most of you watching this, those are great boutique made-in-America pedals. And from what I've ascertained from Wampler's Instagram page, these pedals from the collective series are not made in America. Now, we don't know as of filming where they are made, but we can assume somewhere in the Far East, Indonesia, for example, who knows. But yeah, it's a $99, $97 series of pedals, similarly priced to the JHS 3 series. We have two drive pedals, the Phenom Distortion and the Triumph Overdrive, and they look cool. They look decent. The Phenom Distortion is a dynamic distortion pedal, which uses JFET-based clipping instead of op-amp and diode-based clipping, and is loosely based on the legendary 5150 style. And the Triumph is a versatile overdrive based around two of Brian's all-time favorite overdrives, the Digitech Bad Monkey and the Boss SD1. So pretty much every sort of drive taste under the sun is covered by those two pedals. Which one would you buy, Vlad?
Probably the one that has Bad Monkey in it.
Yeah, me too. The Triumph.
I like that pedal a lot.
I like the SD1. I've actually never played a Bad Monkey, but I've heard that they're amazing.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I own an SD1. I think I have the, what was 40th, 60th anniversary, whatever.
Yeah, the all black 40th anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still have it. And it's great in a sense that I get why it's such a legendary pedal. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the sound it produces, but it's good.
Yeah,
I get it. I get why it's a legendary thing, but Bad Monkey all day long for me.
Yeah. And what's your thoughts on Wampler doing a more affordable range?
Well, looking at the website, like even the smallest pedals were like $120 and up. So
yeah,
it makes them more accessible as a brand, which
it
I
does.
totally get, especially with current prices of everything. I think this is cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything is getting more expensive, and $100 is sort of like a psychological price point, isn't it? Under 100, I can say to myself, "Oh yeah, it's only $99. It's all right." But over 100, and it becomes a bigger thing in my mind, and in my wallet as well.
It feels way more.
Yeah, exactly. But these look cool, which is good. I mean, I think the JHS Series 3 pedals, which are competitively priced to these ones, look very cool as well. But they have the white design, which you're intended to put your own custom artwork on as well. Whereas with this range of pedals, with the Collective series, it's clear that Wampler have gone in a slightly different direction. They've been made overseas, so that's kept the costs down. Obviously, the quality standards have been kept up, as Wampler themselves say. But these look great. They look really, really good. We've got two different blue colors on the pedals, if you're looking at this, and nice-looking knobs and a sturdy-looking switch. There's nothing to complain about here. I likes it.
Yep. And I wonder if all the pedals, like the other pedals that will release in this range, all follow the kind of same idea that the JHS has, where the chest is always the same amount of knobs, maybe like one switch extra somewhere, but otherwise it's always the same because, again, that's a way to save money when it's similar chassis.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're going to be right there. I think all of the JHS 3 series are exactly the same, and these two pedals here are, of course, identical. You've got the on-off switch, and then 2 rows of 3 controls, 5 knobs, and then is that a 2-way switch in the middle on the bottom row? Yeah, a 2-way switch. So
it seems.
So these are the first 2 of a series. We have a distortion and we have an overdrive, and we can kind of already guess as to what else is going to appear in this range.
Yep. And I mean, a 5-knob compressor or a delay or reverb, that's a lot of controls.
That is. And if they can get their ego compressor down into this range, I think that would be pretty damn good.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I like that because even the
would they have to make it worse,
mini
though?
Compressors.
Well, would they have to make this pedal slightly worse because it's cheaper? I don't know. I mean, the mini ego compressor is like $150, right? And this one's going to be selling for $100.
Like yes.
But maybe it's only the price difference in terms of the location where they're made. And if it's the same circuitry and whatnot, that could be a great pedal further down the line.
Yeah, I mean, the irony of that would be that I think all of the components come from the Far East anyway.
That is true.
Then it's just whether you assemble them there and then ship them, or you ship the parts and assemble them in US.
Yeah, true.
Obviously, probably Wampler's like US made stuff goes through more QC, so it justifies the price. But then again, I'm guessing these will hold just fine because they're not like super cheap. They're just cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. So there's going to be a lot of competition for them, but the name Wampler is a very big one these days, and I think that if you've got $100 and you're looking for a new flavor of overdrive, then I'll be trying one out. Let's put it that way.
Yep, sounds good to me. Let's talk about something that is not as affordable next, because Chapman Guitars announces new Made in England workshop series, and I think this is the 3rd time they're releasing Made in UK guitars now.
I believe it's the 4th, according to a video that we've both watched.
Oh, that is very true. I forgot that it was the 4th time.
Yeah.
As they say, 4th that the charm? Or
Yep, that's a well-known saying. 4th time's the charm.
Yes.
4 is a magic number and all that.
It is. But yeah, handmade? Are they high-end? Are they handmade? I think I remember seeing handmade somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure. Whatever the handmade even means.
It means someone with hands
UK
made them.
made.
Ah. Apologies. But yeah, these are Made in England guitars from the Workshop series. And yeah, you can bet that there is a lot of handiwork that goes into these instruments. We have, I think, currently the ML1X, the only model that you can order, which is a sort of a super stratty type model. And if you're in the UK, these will cost £3,500. If you're anywhere else in the world, it will be £3,000, which includes delivery, but doesn't include local taxes. So for me in Europe, it's going to be, I don't know what I'll be paying in terms of customs. But yeah,
Customs,
if you're in America, you'll pay customs to get it shipped. So this is an interesting move for Chapman. These guitars are a lot of money. I'm sure they're great guitars, but who's going to buy them? That's the question they're going to have to answer.
Yeah, you have to be a huge Rob Chapman fan, and I believe those still exist. But after everything that he's kind of gone through, I don't know. It's just strange, but I wish them all the success in the world because I want people to have jobs in the music industry. So kind of that wish kind of outweighs everything else.
Yeah, I mean, me too. And, speaking as a born and bred Englishman, I think it's great that there are more guitars being built
in
England right now. So that's a pretty cool thing. There are not many English builders, and Chapman so far hasn't officially said who or where when it comes to the builders of these guitars, but it's common knowledge if you look on the line who's making them, and I think it's great.
Yep.
Yeah, that said,
Yep.
if you had $3,000 or euros, Vlad, you could choose pretty much anything. Where
That's
would a
the
Chapman UK-built guitar be in kind of your list of things to try? I mean, would it be even in there?
I'm going to be honest, it wouldn't be on the list. Let's put it that way, because I could get Gibson's, high-end Fenders, PRS.
Yeah.
Heck, I could order something amazing from a local luthier for that price.
Yes, you could.
Like
You could
be
get
part
a
of
sewer
that.
for that price. Mm-hmm.
Well, that as well. I have owned one of those guitars as well, and if I'm totally honest, I see no situation where I would choose Chapman over that, for example.
Yeah,
or like a high-end Ibanez or anything like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting debate, and like you've also got stuff like resale value to consider if you're buying a guitar like that. I mean, obviously, if you buy a guitar like that, you want it to be with you forever and ever, but sometimes it doesn't happen like that. And
most of the times it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Let's
being
be honest
optimistic. And
I like your optimism.
Yeah, exactly. But if you spent $3,000 on a Gibson, for example, and $3,000 on a Chapman, and then came to sell it 2 years later, you're obviously going to get more money for the Gibson, I assume.
Yeah. And I mean, like, actually, now that I started thinking about this, I've had a few situations where I had a guitar where it was like, this is a keeper, and life happens. Even if you have those keepers, sometimes life gets in the way. I have a lot of personal experience in that department, so yeah. You gotta think of the resale value, and unfortunately, especially in Finland, I don't think these would have any. I'm afraid. They would have some, but not as much as a Sir or Ibanez or Gibson or whatever else you might get for those £3,500.
I agree. It's a lot of money. And one other thing that I think is going to be very difficult is actually trying one of these before you spend the money. If you want to buy a Gibson, you can go and try a bunch out at a store. But with something like this, I don't know. You're paying a lot of money for something you don't get to play in advance, which could be a risk.
The interesting thing is, like, one of my initial thoughts was, do they design this for mostly like UK-based customers, but then they don't tell you who's actually manufacturing them, meaning that you cannot like go and visit the workshop while they're building the guitar and like spec out the neck shape, for example, or anything like that. So it's a strange business decision, I guess.
It's an interesting one. Like you said,
yes.
all credit to them for trying for a fourth time.
Oh, absolutely.
But one other thing that I do think is interesting and worth mentioning is the fact that, when Chapman started, it instantly became a massive brand, at least on the internet, because Rob came out with this kind of collaborative design aspect with low-priced guitars that people had a kind of a say in how the designs would be, and they were also perfect modding platforms. So they started with these affordable instruments, and they've gone up in price, and now we're at guitars that cost 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times as much as what some of the older Chapmans used to. Whereas many other brands, they'll start expensive and then go the other way. So this is kind of the first time that we're seeing someone trying this, at least that I can remember. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to succeed. Yep,
that is very true. I just remember that I have actually owned the first ML1 at some point.
Oh, yeah?
I think I bought it off Andertons or something.
Okay.
So, yeah. But this was 12 years ago or something. Something like ridiculously long time ago.
So like a really early model.
Yes, like they had just one color, one design, like just the kind of basic model at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we wish them all the best. But maybe you can tell that we're probably not the ones who are going to order these.
No, we're not. We're not the target market. So let's see. I mean, Rob Chapman also, he's been around for what, maybe 12, 13, maybe more years on YouTube. He's probably got a lot of fans who started out back in the day, who were kind of young teenagers or whatever, in their first steps with the guitar. They were really excited about the collaborative design. Now they've maybe gone on to big careers. They might have a lot of money. They might want to order one of these. They might be able to do it. Who knows? True. It'll be really interesting to see how these work out. And I'm also very interested to try one at the next trade show that I get to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever that's going to be.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, the minute you try one of these out, you might go, oh, now I get what's the point of in these.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Yeah, but let's talk about something else, which is way, way cheap. Harley Benton JA60cc offset range launches in 5 cool surf colors, according to gearnews.com. Basically, the Harley Benton jazz. What's a good word equivalent to master champion?
Yeah, the jazz champion. Yeah.
Yes. It's that. Have you demoed one of these?
Yeah, I actually bought one. And it's behind. You see a little, oh God, pointing.
Do we need to zoom on you?
Pointing fail. I need to stop drinking before I point. Yeah, there you go. It's that green thing in the corner. Yeah, I couldn't resist on one of these.
Good.
I had to grab one. I've been after an offset for a long time, but never really knew where to start. And these are like a jazz champion, It's like a cross section between a few other offsets, between a Jaguar and a Jazzmaster, but also without a lot of the extra stuff that can go wrong or be harder to play. So there's no vibrato bridge or anything like that. So tuning stability should be less of an issue. You have these JM style pickups, but you don't have the extra kind of rhythm circuits or any of those extra switches or anything like that. It's effectively 2 pickups and a 3-way switch, and that's it. You just play. So very, very simple. Nice. They look fantastic. I love the dark-looking fretboards and the block inlays. And I went for the Seafoam Green one, and I'm extremely happy with it. It's really, really good.
Nice. The volume button on this seems to be really close to the bridge pickup, though. Is it?
In reality, it's not that close, no.
Okay, interesting. Maybe just the photo somehow makes it look like it's way too close.
Yeah, it's definitely nothing like as close as a Strat. Because on a Strat, I always bash the volume knob down, and on this guitar, I don't.
Same for me.
Yeah.
Yep. So, what's your overall review of these? I mean, they're very affordable, as I remember. 179 euros.
Yeah. And yeah, these are not like some of the Fusion models, so you don't get branded hardware, you don't get Gotos or Wilkinson tuners. You just get Harley Benton's own stuff. But you get the Roswell pickups, and yeah, they sound fantastic. It's not super brittle or anything like that in the high end. It sounds fat and thick, and it's way more versatile than I thought it would be. So this guitar has been a real highlight for me. It's really given me the bug to try more expensive offsets as well. So at some point, I will travel down that road. And I really think that they knocked it out of the park with the colors as well. If you look at that picture there, you've got... I went for the Seafoam Green, but I was really, really kind of close to going for the Shell Pink. I mean, Lake Placid Blue is always sort of on my list to get, but I thought, for once, let's not go blue. And you've got Dakota Red there on the left and Inca Silver, and even the Inca Silver looks cool. So
it does.
Really, really good work by Harley Benton. And there's left-handed models too, so thumbs up. 2 of them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for these kind of offsets, and
yeah,
every now and then I'm about to buy one, and then I remember that, wait a minute, I have one that I just need to finish building, and I have an offset.
Yeah, exactly.
With actually like proper pickups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I need to get myself to a luthier or a guitar building course and get it done at some point.
You do. You absolutely do.
I have a soft spot for offset.
Yeah. These are just super fun guitars. Would recommend it to anybody who's looking for a cheap, really fun sort of offset instrument. And they have a slightly smaller body than a Squier or a Fender would. So If you find those to
That's
be just
nice.
a tiny bit too big, it's a very, very subtle, the size difference, but it is there. So, yeah, these are
Yep.
just really nice. Probably my favorite purchase of the year, that guitar.
Nice.
Maybe. Without giving anything
Maybe.
away for later.
Yes, we have something like that in the later sections of the show. But from jazz masters to something very non-jazz master, Tosin Abasi demos, his Ernie Musicman Kaizen. 7th Street. You have to say it Kaizen.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know. I'm a huge, well, not a huge, but quite a big anime fan, and kind of, I guess, have a, what's the word? Well, I think I know roughly how Japanese would pronounce this word, and I think Kaizen meant like a sword or something. I think they'll talk about that in some of the previous demos. And again, we talked about this signature guitar extensively in some previous episode, and how kind of interesting it is that he has a signature with Ernie Ball, but then he also has his own guitar company.
Yeah.
So, hats off
Yeah,
to
it's an
Tosin.
interesting one. And they're also fairly similar guitars as well, you know, like
That is
the
very true.
Abasi concept instruments are very much forward-thinking. To someone who grew up in the 50s with Telecasters or whatever, they don't even look like guitars, you know. It's a totally different thing. But yeah, the Kaizen,
true.
or however you say it, is a unique-looking beast. I saw it at the NAMM show in June this year. I think that was the 6-string that was hanging on the wall, and it was an amazing-looking thing. This is very expensive, $4,000. I mean, you could buy a Chapman UK made and still have money left over. But, yeah.
Could you though? Pound versus dollar tax? Well,
Depending on the taxes, I think you'd be
That
able
is
to,
very
but you never know.
might be. Yep. I mean, there's definitely a market for this type of guitars. There will be a few hundred people who want to get this. That's probably all they need. Plus, I think new people will be exposed to Ernie Ball, so from their side, this is also like a great business decision.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely, yep.
Yeah, hats off to Tosin on this. Pires HDRX distilled Hendrix tone, asks gearnews.com, and Hendrix tone at only 20 watts. Yeah, it's a 20 watt head, and I guess it goes for the Woodstock tone. I think I've seen this amp in many YouTube videos as of late, like demoing guitars and stuff. People, I think they use it as a pedal platform.
Yeah, this looks like a really cool amp. I mean, giving you that vintage Plexi sort of a tone that Hendrix is famous for. PRX did make a similar amp in the past, but it was a fully US built thing and cost thousands of dollars. And this one is a smaller 20 watt lunchbox one, not made in America, made in, I'm guessing, Indonesia. I don't know if it says anywhere in the article or on that picture there. But yeah, it's sub €1,000, does that sound. It has the equivalent of the 2 jumper channels on the old Marshall amps. And in all the videos that I've seen of it, it sounds amazing. And one thing that's also cool about it is that it has a master volume control, so you don't need to have it fully cranked to get the best sounds. You can turn the volumes up as much as you need them and actually then use the master to control the overall level, which was always a problem for me with amps like this before.
Yeah, a practical amp for a modern day guitar player.
Yeah, and I think it looks really cool as well. It's kind of a mix of a vintage and modern look.
Yeah, I like how the PRS kind of look and design translates well from amps. Well, first of all, guitars, then amps, pedals as well. Whoever's in charge with the designs, good job.
They're doing pretty well. And actually, I think, the Paul Reed Smith signature, I think it looks better on the front of an amp than it does on a guitar headstock.
Oh, could be. I think on some of the models, it works well. I think on the just traditional, like custom, I think the Paul Reed Smith thing works there, but On some others, not as much.
Yeah. But this looks like a very cool thing to test out. Again, we've seen a bunch of demos online, and people like Rhett Shull have made videos with it, but in the real world, I don't think these to be found anywhere yet. So 2023, I guess.
Yeah, it's not that long until it's 2023, which is kind of crazy.
It is.
Yes. From PRS to Eventide, dropping the new H90 harmonizer pedal. It's the H9, which is the kind of predecessor to this one. One of the most legendary, like super multi-effect series that could do it all. And I'm trying to think whether I've owned one or not, or whether I was really close to buying one, but then didn't. I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, well, if you did own it and can't remember, I'm guessing you didn't love it that much.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
I am not sure. We're not going to spend the whole episode trying to guess whether I had one or not. This looks cool and just a really nice way to update already legendary pedal with a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, and you have double the options. It's effectively like having two separate H9s together or something with way more. There's a bunch of algorithms in there. Loads of connectivity, so much stuff you can do with it, so many sounds you can make, but you pay a premium price as well. I don't know if you've seen the price for that.
Get one here for $900.
Yeah, $900. In Europe and in England, I've seen them for around $1,000. So this is not a cheap pedal. But I think there are so many people who love the H9 that they might want to go for this. They're professional studio quality, you know?
Yep. And I mean, you could do so much with the original H9. I think you could run like multiple effects and all kinds of crazy stuff you could do with it. And I remember seeing a lot of rig rundowns where people had like MIDI controller and they had so much stuff programmed into their H9s, and they were doing pitch shifting and delays and reverbs and all kinds of modulation stuff. And I think it even did like a very decent digital distortion and stuff like that as well. So
yeah,
if it's even slightly better with more foot switches and processing power, thumbs up from me. Again, bringing back a weird old grading system that nobody asked for. We're going to hit all the classics in this one because it's the last one.
Unlikely.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, it's out. And also what will be out soon, hopefully, are Digitech. Who bought them? Korg bought them? Who did? Who bought the... Court, yeah, bought them. So they're apparently bringing the brand back.
Yeah, I thought this would be a great thing to include in this episode.
Oh, absolutely.
This is not totally new news, but in one of the previous episodes we talked about the possible death of Digitech and the fact that nobody wants Digitech to die because they make so many cool effects pedals. But they've been purchased, and apparently the people behind the success of their brand are kind of going to be back there doing things next year. So we can expect big things from Digitech, and that is 2 thumbs up from everybody in the guitar community, I think.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I need to get the Freak out at some point. It's just such a cool, unique thing in a pedal.
I've always wanted to get one. I almost got one when they were blowing them out at like under €100 at Thomann not too long ago, a year or two ago maybe. Didn't, and regretted a bit, but there you go. I've got the Carcosa Fuzz, which is central there on the screen. That's a great fuzz pedal. It's a great fuzz pedal for beginners because it's kind of forgiving and it can do a lot of different fuzz tones too. And I've never actually owned a whammy, but would love to.
Yeah,
one day.
I'd love to have one as well. Still one of the best algorithms for pitch shifting, so that's really cool. Yep. We'll keep you updated with the developments of the Digitech release, I guess, on the new show. And we're going to talk about the new show later in this show. Something like that. Next thing, Strymon Big Sky plugging the famous reverb pedal in your DAW. Kaboom! This is actually kind of cool. I haven't seen the price yet, though, so maybe it's...
Well, before you look, what do you think it's going to be?
$100 at least.
Okay.
Because it's Strymon.
And you know that the hardware itself is very boutique in terms of pricing?
Oh, €239. Are you kidding me? Really? Like, I knew it's going to be expensive, but come on.
Too much
You can
for
get
you?
like Valhalla Supermassive is one of the best reverb plugins out there, and that's free. And then there's the Big Sky. Oh, come on. I mean, there will be people who will buy that. But
Yeah, there will be some people for whom it's perfect, and some people will have the same reaction as you.
yes.
And yeah, I think quite a lot of people had the same reaction as you, but this is Strymon's new business model, and I think it's probably fairly safe to assume that some of the other pedals will follow as digital versions as well.
They will. Makes sense.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about this release is that originally they were only going to sell it on their own website. And then they realized that actually selling downloads internationally is quite hard. So now it's being sold at different retailers throughout the world. So, for example, Thomann in Europe. And yeah, it's an interesting thing. €239 is a lot of money to pay for a plugin. You know, I have the Valhalla Supermassive as well, and that is excellent for what it is.
Yes.
Is the difference going to be worth the money? Who knows? But, you know, if someone who does a lot of stuff on their computer now owns a Big Sky on their pedal board or whatever and wants to use this and gets exactly the same results from it, then it's going to be a no-brainer for them.
Yep, definitely. I mean, it is easier to operate.
Yep.
From the plugin than on the pedal, which has a tiny display for everything. Plus, you can set like proper presets and stuff like that. Yeah, makes sense, but Strymon gonna do Strymon, I guess. That's how it is. From Strymon to Solar. Yes, Solar's chug pedal does chug. We talked about this not on the show when this was released, and this is an interesting move, especially because it's basically a preamp pedal meant to be used in your amp's effects loop, which is kind of interesting. And based on the sounds I've heard in the demos, it sounds like Ola's chugging tone.
Yeah, on the Ola video, which is the only one I've seen, it sounds massive. It sounds like Ola Englund. So in that sense, mission accomplished. Have you seen any other videos, or have you seen anybody else playing it?
Not yet, I think.
Me neither. I'd be really interested to hear some, like, normal people playing it. I'd be interested to test it for myself and to hear you playing it as well. But I also want to know where they're made. $199. Are they built in? Well, where? I don't know.
The safest bet, I guess, would be the same factory where they do his guitars as well. So Indonesia. What is the factory called? They build like 1,000 other brands as well. I guess it's that one, but I have no info on that. Just guessing.
Yeah.
And I've also seen him do a thing. I think that he did some sort of sale thing where if you would buy a certain price guitar from Solar, you would get the pedal as well, which is kind of cool.
Oh, really?
I think. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we talk about this. He's a smart businessman, even though like, when you watch his videos, you wouldn't be able to tell, but he employs like 20, 30, 40 people, runs a successful guitar company, and
Ola has done
a giant office in Stockholm. So
big things. He knows exactly what he's doing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the pedal looks cool as well. You know, it doesn't look generic in any way. It has its own identity. And it has the perfect name.
Yes. I mean, he's consistent to the brand. I love that. The brand is fully based on what he likes, and then he kind of brings other people along. Well done, Ola. Well done. And from chug pedals to music that kind of chugged, maybe. Plini and Rabea Massaad have just made a track together, and it's a little slice of Nirvana for prog guitar superfans, says MusicRadar.com. I'm sure, well, basically they're kind of promoting the Neural DSP plugins. And by the way, I have to mention, I very recently bought a Rabea plugin with my own money, just because I liked it so much based on the free trial. I'm doing some reorganizing in the studio, so I'm selling a bunch of stuff that I haven't used. For example, earlier this fall, I realized I own, I think it was 9 or 10 different microphones. I have now sold 3 of them. So I can still do 7.1 or something like that if I need to.
That's reassuring to know.
Yes. So the next show we're going to bring it to you in spatial audio. That's going to sound awful on your AirPods. At least it doesn't on mine for whatever reason. Anyway, they have a track, and I think we both kind of like it, but it also, to me personally, it feels a bit more they've wrote it to demonstrate different cool sounds of the plugin rather than just focusing on the musical aspects. Not saying that the playing is bad or the music is bad, just having heard a bunch of Plini's original songs and Rabea's original songs, this kind of, they put a bunch of things they're really good at together and created this cool little snippet. And that's it, really, for me at least.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, the musicianship is incredible. They're both amazing musicians.
Oh, yes.
The bass and drums sound great as well. It's been mixed and produced fantastically. But, yeah, there is a tiny something missing for me personally, and this is purely a taste thing, but for me it's very, very difficult to really appreciate instrumental music in certain ways. There are a few artists who do it that I can listen to. I've listened to a lot of Rabea's stuff, I've been a big fan of his for a long time. But, yeah, I tend to need more of a vocal hook to keep me with stuff these days, and for a song to kind of build up and have sort of tension and release and that sort of thing. And I've listened to the Plini and Rabea track a few times, and I appreciate it loads for what it is, but it has something else missing in another direction for me. And in a way, that's totally fine, because it's not trying to be like a Backstreet Boys or Nsync song, is it? It's two guitar heroes showcasing their prog guitar mastery.
That is very true. Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's also that, to me, it's also that I love both of these guys' own music a lot. I've listened to Plini a lot. I've listened to a lot of Rabea stuff. What was the band?
Tosca.
He had the instrumental band Tosca.
Tosca, yeah.
Yes. Listening to that, to his stuff on his YouTube channel as well, all the tracks he does. Love that stuff. I think he seamlessly transitions from something like dark and beautiful to full-on blast riffs, super heavy, chunky riffs. And Plini might be one of my favorite instrumental guitarists ever. The way he kind of hides a lot of incredibly technical elements into his music while keeping the focus on the music itself, where my 4-year-old can nod her head to the song and feel the beat all the time, even though the time signatures are what they are. So I love both of them individually, and I guess all of my criticism comes from the fact that I feel slightly disappointed, if I'm totally honest, because 2 of the guitar players I have a super high regard for. When you bring them together, I guess it's the super band effect. Very, very few super bands in the world have ever been better than the individual artists. So maybe it's that effect for me.
That's a really good point. We should do a future show on that, the best supergroups. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
There aren't many.
No, it would be a short show. That'd be good. We could do it on TikTok even. But yeah, the one thing I do have to say about this track is that as a vehicle for Neural DSP and those plugins, fantastic work, because I don't think anybody anywhere in the world is going to be criticizing the tones on this record as not sounding like real guitar or not sounding like tubes. They sound massive. They sound amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like my 6L6s. I don't like it.
You can hear a little something in the high end. No, you can't.
Yeah.
You cannot.
I also love that they've shot this somewhere in Finland, I think. The scenery sure looks very, very finished. So, love it. Love it. One day, I hope I get to visit the Neural DSP headquarters. It's not that far from where I live, so...
Just
DSP, if you're watching, give me a call.
Gate crash it. Do a vlog. Just turn up there. Use the old line, do you know who I am? That'll work.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to ask, do you know who I am? And they're going to say, no.
No.
Why are you here? End of discussion.
Are you here to fix the broken toilet?
Yes, that. Are you the plumber? Sure look like one. Anyway, from Plini to Gibson, who has a new digital amp on the go and only needs your phone to work. If I understand correctly, this thing works in a way where you, I guess, turn on the app, place it somewhere near your guitar.
Yep.
And then you play and it kind of listens and plays it back amplified. Is that how it works?
That's what they say. They say that it listens to your phone, so you sort of point your phone at your guitar and you play, and in real time it processes what you're playing and then spits back out beautifully amplified sounds through your phone's speaker or through headphones, wired headphones if you're using wired headphones. But yeah, it's an interesting premise.
Mm-hmm.
There was a video from a few weeks ago that came out on the Gibson YouTube channel where they kind of show it off, and there's a few people, I think it's actually that video right there on the screen, and there's a few people playing it, and you get these incredible tones, but you can see from the comments that people actually don't really know how it is, how it's working, what they actually have to do. And yeah, I would actually love to try this and see how good it sounds, but I don't hold out that much hope, to be honest with you.
Is the app free, or do you have to pay for the app and then there's some sort of subscription model where you can get lessons?
Yeah, because they sell lessons as well now. I think you can probably get a free demo version of this or a limited feature version of it, but the whole thing you'd have to pay for. And it's not that cheap, access to the Gibson app. But
no,
yeah, I mean, for people who want it, I mean, go for it. If anybody watching this has tried the Gibson Digital Amp, please give us your feedback. Does it have latency? Because I fail to see how there could be no latency on it.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Such a strange product, but
yeah,
maybe it works. I like that they use the design from the new Maestro range pedals.
Yeah. It looks kind of cool from these screenshots. And hey, if it does work, that's actually amazing. You know, they've solved the latency problem.
Yeah. Also, wonder if you play it loud enough, are there like feedback issues? I don't know. I don't understand how this works properly, so maybe...
Yeah, just go onto the video later, the YouTube video, and read some of the comments, because nobody else understands it either. So, yeah.
I'll have to. It looks interesting. Yeah. We're obviously going to drop links to all of these articles in the show notes so you can check this out yourself. And yeah, let us know what you think. We are confused, but that's nothing new. So
no, that's sort of normal.
Yes. Then we're going to talk about a new study that reveals the most searched effects pedal brand in each US state. Basically, the top 10. The other way around. The top 10 most searched brands for United States were Electro Harmonix, TC Electronics, Strymon, Catalin Bread, Walrus Audio, Boss, Earthquake Devices, JCS Pedals, Zivex Effects, and Death by Audio. A lot of brands I wouldn't have imagined being at the top, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Electro Harmonix, that's no surprise whatsoever. You know, based in New York, right? And made in America, one of the classic old school brands. No surprise that they're at the top. Strymon as well. You can see over on the left of the map that they're the most searched for in California, because that's where they're from. It's very interesting to see TC Electronic at number 2 on the list. I mean, obviously they're much cheaper now, so they're kind of, mass produced and mass sold in that way. So more people are going to be looking for them. But I'm surprised to see them over brands like Boss, for example.
Yeah, the brand name is very strong with TS Electronic.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of a completely different company now.
Yeah, true. JHS pedals at number 8. Based on everything that you see on social media these days, you would expect them to be number 1. That's how I see it anyway.
Yeah, looking at the map, a few interesting ones. I think that's Texas. So Bondi Effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
an
California.
Australian brand? Or am I wrong?
Could be. I've owned the pedal that's here, the Sick Ass Overdrive, the clone. It was good. It was really good. So,
of course. They're from Bondi Beach, Australia. Of course they are. That's clever, Rich.
There you go.
Guessing that.
Yeah. So this is California, right?
What? Yeah, where Strymon is. That's California.
Where Strymon is. Like, why is there like a Strymon? Maybe it's like there's a huge studio scene. Maybe that's why Strymon is so strong there.
Yeah, and because they're based close to LA, and they've infiltrated the Sunshine State. Also, like a lot of rich people live in California, and they can afford the new plugin, so they're searching for that a lot.
It's very true. I'd like to be able to zoom in and see what's in Alaska. It just says 29 pedals. Is that a brand?
That's weird. Yeah. 29 pedals make a really interesting sort of preamp pedal, the name of which I've also forgotten, but we'll Google. I can't even pronounce it. It's the Elite Unity Amplifier, so I guess it's called the Iuna. And I believe our good friend Eirik from Living Room Gear Demos, who we've already mentioned, has video footage of said pedal, and it's very cool, and it's very nicely retro designed. Cool looking thing. But why that's big in Alaska, I don't know.
I mean, I guess you don't have anything else to do there anyway, so...
Let's search for weird pedals. Yeah, why not? The question I have is, why is a brand like Wampler not on the list?
It's interesting.
Because we've got,
I guess
ZVEX or ZVEX, however the Americans say it, and then Death by Audio. Those are brands that in Europe are way more niche than something like Wampler. But yeah, I mean, of course, we have to say that this is not like a scientific study or anything like that.
No, because I was just about to say, because this is from the retailer called Pedal Haven.
They probably stock Wampler. That's why.
That's the thing, like, because they just dove into their Google search data and mapped the most searched terms. I mean, this is cool. I would love to hear something like this from, Guitar Center or what's the biggest? I just blacked out. What's the biggest retailer chain in the US?
Sweetwater,
yeah. There you go. It's been a long day. Yeah, I think I would love to see this from Sweetwater.
Yeah, me too. It
would be super cool. Like, please do pedals, guitars, amps, everything. We're here for the data analysis, please.
Yeah, we love the data analysis. Yeah, it is. I remember that Reverb has done some similar listings to this in the past. But yeah, Sweetwater lists would be cool. Some Toman lists would be cool for the Europeans.
Yes, please.
I would love to see that. But yeah, this is a super cool little article. And links down in the show notes there. Have a click, have a look if you're interested. Yep.
And one last topic, news-wise, we want to discuss is this. I'm going to say the title first, and then we're going to talk about everything else about it. Basically, MusicRadar asks, who is the guitar personality of 2022?
Leave your answers in the comments. Who is the guitar personality of 2022? And it can't be one of us, obviously, because we're on the show. So we don't want to...
That is very true.
...skew your results.
Yes.
Some interesting choices here.
Yeah, they give you options, and I guess for me personally, the question isn't who are on the list, but more that
who
isn't on the list.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to read us the list, and we'll think about who we might put on there?
Okay. So all the list all the people on the list in the alphabetical order. Andy Ferris, the guitar geek.
Mm-hmm.
Isla Tesla Mabel, Guitarreo.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Papa, Colin Scott of CS Guitars, Corey Congilio, Emily Harris from Get Offset, Fazio Electric, Colin Fazio, Henning Pauli, HP42, Jason Mays and Taya Bally, Working Class Music, Justin Hawkins from Justin Hawkins Rides Again, Lee Fuge, Mary Spender, Matt Webster from Let's Play All, Mick Taylor and Dan Steinhardt from That Pedal Show, Ola Englund, Paul Davis, Phil McKnight, Red Shaw, Rick Beato, Tom Bukovac. And
that's a lot of people. And you can only
There's
have
a lot
one
of people,
vote.
but yes, that's the thing. And I'm just going to say it. There's a very heavy UK bias with this list.
What?
No
way.
I said it. No way. Isn't MusicRadar like some?
Yep.
Like part? Yes. Thank you. I'm search for the word, but you just said yes. Yes, there's like a British connection to the whole.
Yeah, based in a city called Bath in the UK. Yep.
Let's take a bath in that area means something else, I guess.
It probably does. Well, it does. I don't know why I'm saying probably. It does. So, yeah, we've got a very wide range of choices here. A bunch of different personalities as well. Who would you vote for?
That is very true. Oh, please don't make it.
No, I don't want to answer that either, so let's not go there. But
no.
everybody watching, write in the comments. You know, I'm going to actually...
A lot of my friends on the list, so like...
Yeah, I've got personal people on the list. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick from the people I don't personally know and say that Justin Hawkins is so cool and I love the darkness so much that he can't lose. How can you say that anyone is better than Justin Hawkins? He's winning for me. His channel's great.
I admit, like, I've seen his channel in my recommendations. Haven't watched a single video yet. Maybe I need to, because I love the darkness, especially the first album.
Yeah, the first album is the one album really, which is full of classics, and we've talked about it a lot before. But he's a great man, I would say. Some
people I'm kind of shocked that are not on the list, I guess.
Yeah, who's missing for you?
Well, first of all, the Andertons guys aren't on the list.
That's a very interesting thing.
Even though it's UK based, they're not here.
You know, I hadn't thought about that. That is really interesting.
Out of the Brits, Tom Quayle isn't here either.
Tom Quayle's not there. You know, Rabea Massaad is not there. Rob
Chapman is very
not
true
there.
As well.
Lee and Danish Peter not there. Have we just discovered something incredible? Some internet beef that nobody knows about? Or is it just they thought we have a maximum of 25 people and this will do?
Yes. Pete Thorne isn't here.
He's not.
Like one of the OGs of the guitar YouTube. There were some other names that I had in my mind as well, but I think I forgot them at this point. But strange list. Let us know who you think is missing from the list. I'm not going to vote, at least publicly here, just to stay friends with all of these people I know from the list.
That's why I did my safety Justin Hawkins one of people I don't know. In fact, there's not many people on that list who I don't know personally, so it was actually very easy.
Humble brag.
That doesn't mean I'm friends with those people. I just know them. I'm friends with some of them. But MusicRadar, well, it wouldn't be a MusicRadar list if it was normal, would it?
That is very true, and that's why we keep coming back to them, because they provide us with, let's say, alternative views on things. And we love them for that.
We do.
So thank you, MusicRadar.
Huge fans.
For giving us something to talk about. We appreciate you a lot. And the next thing we want to do is to, well, say farewell, I guess, to this show, because this is the end. As they sing in the Skyfall's theme song, for example, which is a good song, by the way.
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start by talking about our top 5 favorite moments. We don't have any kind of fancy intro or anything like that prepared for this occasion. I'm just going to add something in the edit and you're going to see it now. That was a super seamless transition. What we want to do next is to say goodbye to the show, and we're going to start it by remembering our favorite moments, or not maybe remembering favorite moments, but 5 things that we both kind of loved about doing CatPick Fridays. This whole thing started, when did it start? Actually, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Let's start with top 5 moments, and I'm going to go first. I'm going to start with a surprise one. And one of my favorite moments of doing CatPick Fridays was discovering Jim Lill's videos. And the reason for that, hear me out before you laugh. The reason for that is I kind of felt I had seen it all when it comes to guitar YouTube. Like the amount of effort. I've seen some videos where people put a lot of effort, like building guitars out of, I don't know, ice cream sticks or whatever else people had done. But the craziness he went through, like trying to figure out where does the sound of a guitar cabinet comes from, for example, building like 7 or 8 guitar cabinets just to test it out is absolutely ridiculous. And then editing all of that into, 10-15 minute video, which breaks down the issue. It's incredible. Like, he must have gotten so many hateful comments, but I appreciate the amount of work he spent on going through where the guitar sound comes from, where the amp sound comes from, and also what affects the sound of a guitar cabinet as well. So that was one of my top 5 moments. I didn't think at the time that it would be, but as I started to think about all the things that I remember doing this show, it was one of those. And your first choice for the CatPick Fridays Awards is... Anyway, this is our award show now, I think.
Oh, okay. Suddenly we've changed. But yeah, I mean, I love Jim Lill as well. I've watched his videos for a long time. Most of the ones that he's deleted now, by the way, because he deleted most of his old stuff. He used to do loads of great, country guitar lessons and sound like Brad Paisley and stuff like that. And I think you can still buy the courses that he does. Like you can purchase courses from him, learn how to play country guitar like Brad Paisley or whatever. But yeah, he deleted a lot of that old stuff, and now he's doing his experiments, which are amazing and have caused so much discussion with the industry that I think it's just, he's done a great job. Or Lil Jim, as you christened him, or maybe I did. But cool
I'm
guy.
going to say it was you.
I believe that he should be on that MusicRadar list of the guitar personality of the year. Yeah. Because he's a super funny guy. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's a great player and musician. And yeah, I would vote for Jim. Maybe. That was a very decisive answer, wasn't it?
Yes. So are you also listing Jim Lill as your top 5?
That was a non-committal noise. I don't really know. No, I don't think so. I mean, we've had a lot of fun with Jim, but there are other things that I would mention first. I mean, the first thing for me would actually be the fact that you invited me to come on the show, because this was a show that you started yourself back in the day just to... I don't really know why you started it, to be honest. I think you just wanted someone to talk to, so you talked to the world. Like,
could be.
I was watching the first episodes. Yeah, and you would... the first episodes, you were like sat in an armchair or sat in different rooms in your house discussing things, and you told stories about the guitars that you owned and about musical projects you were in and favorite albums and stuff like that. And yeah, it was great that at some point I came on as a guest, and then I never left because you kind of invited me to come back again. And now I'm almost I am a co-host in that sense, and it's been a fun journey in that regard. So for me, that's it's not really a moment, is it? But it's one of my things.
I'm just going to drop this in. There you go. Yeah, this is where it all started.
Why the hell it sucks. There you go. That's not about gear.
I was I was kind of searching for the format. I think we're going to do a hybrid version of like reminiscing the best moments of the show, but also like doing some sort of top 5.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. This show looks very, very, very different. And the first 7 episodes maybe weren't a podcast yet. Then I just realized maybe this should be a podcast.
Yeah.
So,
why is there a cutout of your face on a cardboard box in the background?
Exactly for the reason that you just kind of proved to, meaning that so people would ask why is there cutout. I used to use that thing to focus my camera. Like my cameras have really bad autofocus, and in the previous iteration of the studio, the cameras were so far off that I wouldn't be able to use even like any kind of stick or anything like that to focus. So I would just place that thing on the stool, focus, get it out and sit in that cutout's place. That's how
Very clever. I like it.
I think I have destroyed that monstrosity now, so R.I.P. maybe?
R.I.P. Cardboard Vlad, yeah.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, but I'm happy to hear that one of your favorite moments is that I invited you, and it felt like a very natural decision because I got tired of talking just by myself and realized that maybe I need someone to talk to, and then it will actually be like a discussion and more fun to just produce, I guess.
It's always easier, right, to have a person to talk to, and then you can take breaks while they're speaking. You can grab a drink or whatever, as you're doing right now. You can grab a drink.
Exactly.
You can collect your thoughts. You can think of jokes. You can come up with funny stuff. Hopefully, it's just a lot easier.
I love talking to Amira, but that guy is so annoying sometimes that we don't get along.
So you've always got your cardboard face. Oh, you haven't anymore, but yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, doing it as a pair is always better. And yeah, it's not every day that you get invited to join something like this. Because CatPick Fridays was already a thing when you asked me to come on it. And thankfully, the community, the fan base took to me straight away. And I'm going to segue that into my second point. The thing that I wanted to say is
Please do.
The family, the people who come back and watch and listen every week, because we're not the world's biggest show. We're growing. We're always growing. But there are friendly faces that come back again and again and again and like and comment and seem to genuinely enjoy us talking nonsense every week. So I want to say a thank you to you, Vlad, but also to everybody else who's actually listened to this show every week or watched it. It's always amazing to get great feedback and to know that what we're doing is actually informative or useful or maybe just plain old entertaining for some people to listen to. Yes. You strange people.
Yes, it might even be a combination of all of those things. And also, I'm going to change one of my points as well. I wrote down something completely else, but I'm going to say as well. When I started doing this show, and especially when we like really turned it into a podcast, I realized how much I actually enjoy this. And it pretty quickly became one of my like weekly routines / highlights. It was fun to just chat about gear for an hour or two. And it just made a lot of sense because I guess there was a lot of kind of built up gear knowledge or something like experiences I'm happy to share with other people because I think we both learned through doing like our own channels that people enjoy when you share your experiences of things and give useful advice and tips and stuff like that. We are always in hunt for like useful advice ourselves, so just kind of want to give back, I guess, in a way as well.
Yeah,
but it's just fun as well.
Yeah, that takes me kind of onto sort of my next one as well. I totally agree with everything you've just said, and I loved kind of when we were doing this every week. It was always a highlight of the week in a way, kind of always looking out for new things that we could talk about, new bits of gear and stuff like that. And it was a big thing. I've always enjoyed doing the show, and I'm looking forward to what we may or may not do next. But yeah, when it comes to the gear itself, CatPick Fridays has always been a great place for me to actually learn about gear. I mean, you guys know that I work in the industry. I've had a variety of jobs in the music instrument industry, and I continue to do that. But this combines my hobby with that as well. And I've always been able to search new things out, and I've gained a much wider kind of appreciation and knowledge for the world of gear. And also from the comments that lots of you guys have left as well. Like, we've learned so much from you guys too. And if it wasn't for a show like CatPick Fridays, I would never know about the Virtual Jeff, for example. Think about stuff like that. Just these weird bits of gear that you would never hear about, and we spend 10 minutes talking about them. And now I actually want to buy a Virtual Jeff.
Yeah, I think Fluff did a demo on that very recently, and he made it sound really good. Like, he was surprised how good it was. So.
Yeah, I literally watched that video a couple of days ago and thought, you know what? I should probably find $500 and buy a Virtual Jeff.
Yeah, like
instead of a whammy, maybe.
The semi-hollow black, like the black semi-hollow I have, I think it could really benefit from a semi-hollow like that. I don't want to modify it and like put a Bixby on it. I could just use the Virtual Jeff.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly the same as me with my, wrong hand, with my Harley Benton cheap offset back there, the JA60. There are different, vibrato systems that I could put on it, but I could put a Virtual Jeff on it.
Yeah. I'm going to segue from that point to my third thing, because I'm kind of going to combine a couple of things, because it was really cool to share and talk about the different projects I made or like went through during the CatPick Fridays time. One of those is hanging here on the wall, the Harley Benton DIY kit. It was really cool to give updates and answer people's questions about it as it was progressing. For those who don't know, it was like a multi-week project. I did a 3-video series of that, links in the cards and in the description, by the way. And it was a lot of work. I don't remember working on a video series as hard as on that one. There was a fairly tight schedule for that, actually.
Yeah.
Based on Thoman's rules.
Yeah.
I don't remember winning anything. But then again, I don't think the YouTubers who kind of took part in that were even kind of part of the competition. I don't know. But it was a lot of fun. The guitar is here. I still need to do like the mod project thing with this, where I upgrade all the hardware and just make it, I wouldn't say playable, but make it like really good, because the design is cool and I would love to be able to like actually play it. It just needs some work.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being able to share that with everyone and all the questions you lovely listeners and viewers, and it was fantastic. And actually kind of piggybacking on that, I also got to share a lot about the new studio, because during this time we did CatPick Fridays, I moved studios from what used to be a spare bedroom, which is now adult bedroom. I moved from that to this, which used to be a closet, and now it's my super practical studio that I've really, really enjoyed. I have 2 small kids, and I can, well, first of all, I guess I technically can hide here, just close the doors. They won't be able to find me. But the benefit of this is also that when the kids go to sleep, I can still work here and like mix pretty loudly, play guitar pretty loudly. There's a bunch of walls and doors between us, so they can sleep and I can work on my craft, and that's fantastic. And being able to share all of that, and again answering people's questions about home studios has been great, and I tend to do that in the future as well.
Very nice.
Do you have a point number 4 or 5? I've lost count, but
I've got a couple more things to say that I've enjoyed.
Yeah, go ahead.
The first one I think would be, we've talked a lot about gear over the course of this show, but what we've also done a lot is talk about music. And this is also something that we've kind of shared with the people who watch and listen to the show and got tips from them. But in the past, we did a regular segment called The Albums of Our Lives, where we talked about records and bands that have inspired us and, shaped our journeys as musicians and as consumers of music. And I just think that stuff like that was amazing, and I'd love to do more of that in future. And it's always great to get new tips about new music to listen to, and also to listen back to stuff that you haven't listened to in a long time to prepare for the show, because I did that with a couple of the records that I talked about. And we talk a lot about gear and guitars and amps and pedals, but at the end of the day, those are ultimately just tools for us to make music. That's why we're all here, because of a passion for music. And so talking about those albums was always a massive highlight. And to hear, for example, your albums as well, and to get tips about death metal and black metal from a couple of the guys who watched the show, for example, was always
Shout
super
out to
cool.
Alexis.
So I've really, really always enjoyed that. And this segues into my last point. We've had some great guests on the show over the course of time. And one of my very favorites was Mike from CGS, China Guitar Show. And he talked about one of his favorite records, which I then sought out. And yeah, that was a fantastic time. And to come to the guests, we've had a few, not as many as I would like, maybe. We can get more in future, I hope. But it's always been a massive highlight to get experts on, people with great personalities, to tell us about their expertise, what they're interested in. So guests have been my other massive highlight.
Yeah. I'm going to second that. We've had awesome guests, and we have kind of talked about keeping that up in the future as well. So it's just fun to talk to people and ask them questions, and kind of I loved what we did here, like on a regular basis, but then it's also cool to sometimes do something completely different and just ask people questions or invite them to join some silly things as Eric did, like coming up with random summer festivals where the Beatles were playing before Nsync or whatever your set lineup was. So that. And actually, speaking of that, talking about music and things like that, that's something that you mentioned earlier. Having talked about albums that influenced me that much kind of led me to, at least partially led me to joining this small songwriter community. There's 4, 5, 6 of us, and the idea of that is to meet monthly, and everybody brings their own songs, things like that there, and we give honest but very kind of friendly feedback on each other's songs, give tips, share ideas, stuff like that. Sometimes people kind of send those ideas on our WhatsApp group as well, and that's been really exciting. I've been asked to produce a song, and then we're also working on something with my sister as well. And only through that community, which she also joined, I found out that she writes songs just in general. I didn't know that, but she's really good at it as well. And we are in a kind of process of creating a first demo of a song she's written. So I feel everything we did with CatPick Fridays, talking about albums and stuff like that, then getting the new studio and everything, kind of led me to that point. And I'm excited what the future holds. That sense.
Yeah, that's super cool. You know, songwriting is all part of the music making process, and yeah, it might be cool to do more stuff sort of related to that in future as well. Of course, we had a great guest, Trey Xavier, on, who talked about songwriting, and he has a great channel where he talks about that every single day almost. So that's a great thing for us to think about in future. And yeah, just again, thinking about guests, we've had Trey, our beloved Mike, CGS, has been on. Eirik has been a regular guest, for example. We've also had the magnificent Perry from Pendulum, and many other bands. Who else have we had on? Those are the 4 that just came to my mind first off.
I think we've asked a bunch of other people, but I don't remember. Did we have other people?
Maybe those are the only 4. But if so, they were all highlights. If we've forgotten anybody, we apologize profusely. And it's not your fault, it's ours if we forgot about you. But yeah, anyway, a series of amazing guests and music and song and dance. And yeah, we've all learned a lot from one another, I think. And that's the coolest thing.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think this is a perfect segue to talk about the future, the year 2000. I'm referencing a real Conan O'Brien sketch. Yes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
They used to have, like, for whatever reason, I think it was the only like US late night show that aired in Finland for some reason, and I think that's like they started to air it on regular basis because Conan O'Brien and our then president, Conan and she looked very alike, and Conan like constantly made jokes about it. And basically, yeah, they had that show in Finland on a regular basis, and they had this in the year 2000 segment, and this was like 2005 or something, and then somebody would read some funny things that were happening in the year 2000. Anyway, we're supposed to talk about the new show.
Did you know that Conan started out as a writer on The Simpsons?
I did, actually.
Okay, fine. I thought I'd teach you something finally at the very end of our last ever
just about
episode.
To, like, drop one. Here's information you were
dropping truth bombs, stuff that you didn't know. Yeah, but there we go. I never really watched Conan much anyway.
Back in the day.
I always liked.
Nowadays?
He's probably doing other late night hosting on different channels.
Good.
I always liked Craig Ferguson, the Crazy Scott. But there we go. With Jeff Peterson, the robot sidekick. They were my favourite late night people.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
But do we need to do a big reveal? Because we have some information for you that if you're a fan of what we've done here, there's going to be more of that in the future. And first of all, the show is called, let's add drum roll in the post, I guess, because I don't have anything queued up here. Drum roll! The new show is called Boom! The Unlikely Guitar Show. Explosions, something like that. I'm going to add some post effects here just because I can.
Make it good, please.
Are you saying that wasn't enough?
They've got to be big explosions. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Yes. The Unlikely Guitar Show will premiere, can we say January?
We actually don't know. That's the problem.
We actually don't know. Life has been throwing a bunch of wrenches at us or something like that as of late. So we are not 100% sure when this will air. But I guess what we can say is we're going to take all the best parts of CatPick Fridays and then kind of turn it up to 11, add some new things, better, faster, stronger. That's a song, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I mean by that, but yes. What we've done here, but even better. And we have a bunch of cool new segments planned and kind of make it even more entertaining, but also informational. We want to have a bunch of guests join the show and things like that. And if you want to follow what's going to happen with the new show, and we kind of start posting some updates and things like that, we have an Instagram account and a YouTube channel and links to those you can find in the show notes as well. Or you can search Unlikely Guitar Show on Instagram or on YouTube and you will find us. Hit subscribe or the follow button or whatever the buttons are there and you will stay up to date. And we are really excited about this. I'm still fairly happy with the logo as well. So well done me. One clap.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm going to give you a single hand clap.
That's how my 1-year-old waves every time. She does like a single hand clap. So, yeah. Unfortunately, as we just mentioned, we cannot give you an exact date when this will air because there's been a lot of weird things that have delayed everything we do. And there's some other news as well that we're going to share a bit later as well. So stay tuned for that. And this is a great moment to thank everyone for this. How long did we do this? This Thursday, December 1st, 2022. Did it start in 2020?
I think before.
2020. When was it?
I think it was before COVID.
Sorry. The first CatPick Fridays episode at February 5th, 2021. So for almost 2 years. Oh, really?
It's not that long.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it is nearly 2023. So it is almost 2 years.
Yes. That's
a lot. Actually, that makes sense. Like about 100 episodes because we made about 100 maybe. Is that possible?
I think we made 70 something. There's few that don't count in the official, because I used to put episode 1, 2, 3, and 4, but then there's like 5 or 6 bonus episodes that I don't think I count as.
Right. Yeah, episodes. The special summer episodes.
I'm going to say 80 or so.
Well, if you round 70 or 80 up to the nearest three-figure number, you get 100.
We get 100.
It's the perfect time to stop.
It is. That's how we planned. We're going to stop at the 100 and then redo the whole show. Yeah, but this is the final CatPick Fridays episode. I'm not sad because we're going to continue this with just a different name, with a different brand. I'd like to think we've learned a lot over this past 2 years or so, and the new show will be even better. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back early next year.
We will.
And on that note, have a happy holidays time. It's December 1st, so I think you can wish happy holidays at this point. I think that's allowed.
Yeah, have a great...
Christmas candy and music is in the stores already, so...
Yeah, it is.
To go.
It has been. Have a great time, a great Advent period, doing whatever it is that you do. If you celebrate Christmas or not, enjoy family time, togetherness.
Yes.
Have as much fun and be warm. And we will see you next year with the Unlikely Guitar Show, which is going to be an unlikely success, allegedly.
So we think and hope. Yeah. On that note, thank you so much for watching and listening. And as we always mention, stuff in the description of this show. And now we're going to say bye. And we will see you next year.
Bye, podcast.